What's up, Third ID? This is Sergeant First Class J. Johnson, female type. I am the platoon sergeant for 2nd Platoon Bravo Company Night Stalkers. So, Night Stalkers. And we are full swing Operation Bright Star. We actually only have a couple weeks left on that. So, hopefully, we can get through this and push right into the next operation. The final operation will be held on July the 2nd. And we have one more coming up in a couple weeks, actually. This is going to be out on Friday, June the 9th, actually. Which, my birthday is in a couple days, so yeah, getting older. I don't like being older, but oh well. So the next mission is going to be developed by First Sergeant Gilmore, and for Bravo Company, it is going to be First Lieutenant Strickland, so I'm excited to see what they're going to bring to the table. The final mission on Alpha Company side will be brought by Second Lieutenant Hardy, and we do not have anybody assigned for Bravo Company. So we're going to finish this training event and hopefully get right back into our next operation or whatever we're going to get involved with next. Now we're going to push right into promotions. So as you all know, I don't really talk about anybody below our rank. So we had some privates, some specialists, some corporals, all that going through the ranks, getting promoted. Congratulations to you all, but I can't talk about everyone that gets promoted like that forever, but I will touch on the people I'm actually familiar with or somebody that's actually the higher rank. We've had Sergeant Shade, Sergeant Coy, and Sergeant Primos all go to Staff Sergeant. Sergeant Coy and Primos are both in Bravo Company under me, so I can tell you they're both super hardworking. They both put their work in, and I'm excited to see where they're going to take it from here. Sergeant Shade, on the other hand, is exactly the same. I've been knowing him since he was a private trainee. So he's actually following in Scorpion. He's in Scorpions. He's following in Lieutenant Worrell's footsteps. Sergeant Stenberg's, which not many people know, but he was one of the platoon sergeants here. And he is getting better and better every day, even following in Sergeant First Class Drake's footsteps. So he's got a lot to live up to, and he's doing leagues ahead of everyone else right now. So I'm excited to see how he's going to take his career and blast forward into the future. You know what they say, high speed, low drag. And we have one Sergeant First Class. Speaking of Sergeant First Class Drake, he just got promoted to from Staff Sergeant to Sergeant First Class. So congratulations for him. And we have our newest officer candidate. Sergeant First Class Hermanson has taken his first steps towards his commission, becoming an officer candidate. So he'll be over 2nd Platoon Alpha Company, the Hellhounds. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he has. We were not squad buddies, but we were both squad leaders. And there's a quote that I always hold over everyone's head. Major accidentally let it slip that Sergeant Johnson and Sergeant Hermanson run the best squads in all the unit. And he let it slip. He didn't get out all the way, but he got close to it. So I'm going to hold him to that. So Sergeant Hermanson, congratulations. Or Cadet Hermanson, congratulations on your promotion. And I'm actually excited to see you wear that buttle bar in a couple months or however long it takes. So we're going to just push right through. And we're going to go into armor game changes. Now, there was an op rep that came up. They're actually working on implementing a new map here. They are making their map is going to be invested into heavy game flow and level design in each location, and it's more suited towards close quarters. A map called Malden is more suited towards close quarters combat than other previous trains they've released. Each location is designed to provide enough cover, landmarks to serve as orientation points, and multiple avenues that can allow players to flank enemies and attack from the rear. So hopefully, I can't wait to get into this map. It actually looks really great. I actually reinstall the game just so I can try this map out and see how it goes. And pressing right in through it, we got our APG game changes. Not much stuff happened in APG, sad to say. The main thing that they're really talking about is a PS4 launch, which I talked in last month's podcast. So I'm not going to touch on it too long, but they're talking about releasing on PS4. So if you want to go check it out, all the links are going to be in the bottom of this video. As far as insurgency game changes go, they've been really unresponsive on their page. Not much has come out other than their live streams that they've been playing. The new game that they launched called, what is that game called? Day of Infamy. The game release of Day of Infamy came out, and they've been just live streaming like crazy, but nothing else really came out about that game so far, so don't really have much to say on it. As far as events go, As you all know, we have several events that we do in Third ID. Starting off with Friday Night Fight. Friday Night Fight is a TBT event hosted by Phalanx and Arma 3. The entire night is dedicated to adversarial game types. Multiple armor groups participate in the player counts averaging 80 players. If you're looking for a good time and a good fight with good people, come and check it out. This happens every Friday at 1900. If you want to meet up for it, just be on our server and they'll put you in the right room and they'll get it going. The mods you'll need are CBA, TFAR, ACE, CUP, and RHS. I look forward to seeing you out there. And next up is Throwback Thursdays. So you missed those old AE2 and AE3 maps like Weapons Cache, Collapse, Urban Tunnel, Urban Assault, Water Treatment, Pipeline Dust, HQ Raid, Farm Raid, and so on and so on. Well, look no further. Join us every Thursday night for Throwback Thursdays. It happens every Thursday at 1900. Just join the TeamSpeak channel on Throwback Thursday, and we're going to get you into the game and get you playing. This happens on America's Army. Wednesday Night War Games will be hosting a midweek co-op session for anyone interested. The mission will vary in number and difficulty depending on how many players attend the event. I think right now they're doing Operation Sword and Shield, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, I don't think that's the name of it. It's Operation Die by the Sword. See, I got it right that time. Operation Die by the Sword. Most of the missions will be Zeus missions, meaning they make them up themselves or they go through Zeus. They have a certain storyline they're going through right now, actually. It'll happen every Wednesday at 1800, and you need to run all the normal mods you run to play our server, which there's a list in our TeamSpeak channel. On draft night, towards the end of each month, we'll be hosting an APG and Insurgency draft night. The event is open for anyone in the unit. Captains are chosen at random. It can be anyone from the commanding officer itself, down to himself or herself, down to the lowest recruit. The captains choose from a pool of available players, one at a time until teams are full. Once the teams have been made, there's double elimination tournament. Each team will play against each other for fighting for bragging rights for that month. Drafts will be held on different nights for each game, so keep an eye on the forums for all those signups. Now, that was our little commercial section, so let's just go straight into our schools. And now we're going to move on to our next talking bit. We're going to talk about Ranger School. And actually, I have somebody here that's going to be talking a little bit more in depth about it, as I've only been to it once. So I brought in Sergeant First Class Gardner here from 173rd. He's going to be helping me out a little bit. Thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me.
And what exactly is your position at 173rd?
I am the community outreach leader for 173rd, so when it comes to dealing with other units such as the 3rd ID, that's kind of my job dealing with that. Inside of the 173rd, I am the Legion Company 1st Platoon, Platoon Sergeant.
Well, it's always a pleasure having you, and this is not the only course that we actually share in common. We actually do an airborne school, which we'll talk about that in a moment, but the real reason you're here, I must be getting hungry because all I think about is food, is Ranger School. So I've been to it once, myself, and that was last year, and I had a blast doing it. But you're actually one of the cadre that runs it on a regular basis. Is that accurate to say?
You can say it's semi-accurate. This year, I'm not going due to some personal health issues. I was a cadre for last year, though.
I actually do remember you being there, and you taunted me while I was doing it.
Yeah, I have a tendency to do that.
Nah, it's fine. It's all fun and games. So, tell us a little bit about Ranger School.
Alright, so Ranger School is going to be on June 10th this year. It's going to be running 2100 Central Daylight. Ranger School is really just getting together and learning a lot of things, but it is intensive. This year we're planning on Ranger School being between 13 to 14 hours. And if you think you can get away with that by sleeping, I would think again. This year, you can actually be disqualified from Ranger School for things such as sabotaging your peers, taking navigation devices, and falling asleep. Those are things that you should not be doing, right? If you're caught taking gear you shouldn't be having, you may as well call yourself disqualified then, because regular checks are performed. Now, in terms of
last year people did that. They have people that fell asleep and they immediately got disqualified. The people that's still in the unit to this day, I still know their names, and you know who you are. I'm not going to say it, but I know who you are. falling asleep midway through, it's not a good thing for you.
Now, in Ranger School, there are several things that we're going to go over, right? Leadership, right? In order to be a ranger, one needs to know how to take the initiative and lead, right? You gotta be good at making quick assessments, right? Keeping their subordinates informed and being good tactical leaders, right? You're not gonna get anywhere if you can't tactically outmaneuver your opponent. Aside from leadership, basic land nav training. Now, these skills that we teach you, believe it or not, will go into reality. We teach you how to find the North Star, and that really does come into some good play. Patrolling, how to do proper patrolling around a camp. Now, if you're patrolling around a camp, the enemy doesn't know where you are. There are certain things that you need to go about it, paying extra attention to your terrain, making sure the enemy's not looking for you, right? And if you see an enemy, you gotta know, don't always engage them, right? Let them on their way. In terms of tactical movement, that's pretty simple, making sure you're keeping your formations tight, keep it to the T, and make sure you're being cohesive. You got to keep that unit cohesion top notch, because when you fall apart, mistakes happen. And then lastly, demolitions. Right? In order to be a good ranger, you got to know what to do when you come up on a good cache of supplies that need a good boom. Watch out for secondaries, because they bite.
I will say that the one thing you have to stress is mental awareness, because sometimes just sitting around and doing patrols, you get complacent. You just start kind of daydreaming and you kind of miss stuff, and that's what the whole night is made to do. It's supposed to mentally stress you out so that when you actually go on a mission, then you have to be able to make snap decisions with your brain and your body just barely struggling to make it to the end.
Yep, because the thing is, this course does go 13 to 14 hours. Right, now for you guys, you may have a chance to prepare for that. For us, we have about 15 minutes off of our operation that we're going into it. I remember for my first Ranger School, we had our platoon training, right? Now sometimes for our platoon trainings, you get away, you can do something fun, right? It was actual training. So we had our platoon training. And then I led a squad that did trainings on Saturdays after platoon training. So then I had to lead squad training. Well, then we had a field training exercise because we had just finished our campaign, right? And then we had Ranger School. So it was a night full of training. But at the end of the day, I learned a lot about endurance, right? Because it's a lot more with me than just some dude behind a screen, right? I got a lot of stuff going on, a lot medically, and you really got to have that mental push to get through it, because if you don't want it, if you don't feel that you need it, you're not going to succeed, right? Because you sit there, you drink a couple beers, you think you're having fun, next thing you know, you're snoozing off, you're slacking your team behind, the next thing you know, you're disqualified. So being mentally alert and on the lookout are definitely some things you're going to need, because we all know some days we're just not in the mood, right? We're tired, we're groggy, but hey, you're a leader. You got to go make snap decisions, left, right, or center, flank or go through it. Are we going to ambush? Are we going to let them sneak by? What are we going to do, right?
I remember when I did it, I was a specialist. I went through, actually, no, I was a sergeant. And I just made sergeant, and they told me, congratulations, you're a platoon leader. I had no idea what I was doing. It was just thrusting me into the heat of it, but I made it through the other side. Pretty okay. Didn't lose anybody, so that's a win in my book.
Yep, and in Ranger School, like I said, we do test leadership. So in that aspect, we're testing privates as fire team leaders. We're testing corporals as squad leaders. We are testing sergeants as platoon leaders. We really do push you, right? We want you to fall apart, but then pull you back together again, so you learn out of that experience. You see what you did wrong then, so you can fix it later.
So now people realize it's not, because there's the word I'm thinking about, a certain style that people look at Ranger School, and it's not the worst style, but
Aspect.
it's in yeah, there's certain aspects of Ranger School people just see the time. They just go, it's a 14, 15-hour course. Well, it's kind of designed to be that way.
Well,
It's
they see
designed
a game, they don't think of it as a real challenge.
exactly. Being in third ID, the only qualifications you need to participate, you gotta be the rank of Private First Class or higher. You have to be airborne or air assault qualified, or both if you have it, and you have to pass uniform inspection. So you sign up for Ranger School, we're just gonna check your uniform out, make sure all your PERSCOM and everything's in order. Do that, and congratulations, you're in. By the time this podcast comes out, which will be Friday, January the 9th, not January, June the 9th, then Ranger School will be tomorrow. So if you're listening to it on the 9th, it'll be tomorrow. You still have time to sign up. And if you listen to it after Ranger School, you missed it. Look at all these people in ceremony that are getting these nice little tabs. I got my tab, Sergeant Gardner has his tab, and now you need to get your tab.
Beware, we hold these events very rarely. Most of the times it's only once per year. If you're lucky, maybe twice. Get in while you can, because you don't know when you're going to be able to get in again. Don't think it's just a one-time thing you can blow off and go back to later. That's not always the case.
I agree. So if you haven't signed up yet, I fully recommend go for it. It's an experience that you're going to love, even though something you can show off to your friends later saying, I did that. And you can point to uniform, bam, Ranger tab. But thank you so much, Sergeant Gardner, for joining me and telling me all about Ranger School. I appreciate it.
No problem. I was glad to be here.
All right. Thank you so much. And now we're going to talk about flight. So we're going to have an aviation school come up. And basically, if you show up, it happens every Tuesday and Thursday at 1800 and Saturday at 1100. So if you still want to sign up, go to the forum and sign up, and you'll get put into the queue. You can only participate in the class if you're planning on going to be a brawler at some point. Just go to the forum on the post under training signups and just follow the instructions as written. And just go on right into the next part. Our mod of the month is Cup Terrains. So if you guys know, Cup Terrains is a massive terrain pack. It used to be all in armor terrain pack, but they kind of stopped going. They stopped making it. So Cup Terrains came up to fill its place. In short, it's it stands for a community upgrade project. It's an initiative to bring the content of Armor 2 to Armor 3. It has different maps like Ramadi, Sahari, Southern Sahari, United Sahari, Porto, Utez, Chanaris, Desert, Takistan, Zarbadad, it's just a bunch of names, Proving Grounds, Takistan Mountains, and so on and so forth. If you like those maps and you love big, diverse maps of different terrain types, check it out, download it. There's going to be a link in the description of Armorholic to see if you can download it. If you should have it if you're in this unit, because Third ID uses these for all of our terrain packs. Well, that's all I got for you today. Thank you so much for stopping by and checking out the podcast. This is Sergeant First Class Johnson signing out. Stay frosty, Third ID. Rock of the Marn. Hua.